The phone lights up. Their name, still pinned. A thumb hovers, scrolling through old texts. Not to reply, not to understand, just to feel something, anything. Each word, each timestamp, a pull back to loss. It's not searching for answers. It's repeating, a loop that carves deeper. The screen glows, but it doesn't explain why they left, why the silence stays, why the heart still races. At 3 a.m., what's gained by opening that thread again? Is it closure or just another turn in the cycle? The mind says stop, but the hand moves anyway. Each tap, a surrender to pain that's already passed. The logic is clear, yet the reflex wins. How many times does the same wound need to bleed? The cost isn't in the moment. It's in the quiet erosion of control. Every glance at their profile tightens the grip of emptiness. Not seen by others, not spoken, but felt. Like a weight that grows heavier with each check. The system inside frays. Not because they're gone, but because the loop keeps running. Unseen, unstopped. Seneca wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Their absence isn't the wound. The wound is the reflex, to chase what's already dust. The screen tempts, but it holds no truth. Only the same regret replayed. Pausing now, is it strength or just another delay before the next scroll? The urge to check feels like control, but control is letting the screen stay dark. Control is seeing the impulse and not following. The pull remains, but it doesn't rule. The silence is where the reset begins. The urge to text feels like reclaiming something lost. A message drafted, words chosen to prove you're still here, still worth their time. It seems like strength, a way to break their silence, to force an answer. But sending it only tightens the chain. Each word typed binds you to their absence, not to them. The screen waits, but it's not control. It's clinging to a ghost that doesn't answer. The logic is simple. Explaining won't change what's gone. Yet the fingers move, as if words could rewrite pain. They can't. The message sits unsent, or sent and ignored. Either way, the loop spins on. Regret grows, not from their reply, but from the act itself. Detach isn't defeat, it's cutting the thread. Let go isn't weakness, it's the first step out. Way 1. Stop chasing closure. The phone sits in hand, their profile, one tap away. Not to message, not to call, just to see if they're still there, if they're smiling, if they've moved on. The scroll begins, a reflex, automatic. Each post, each story, a stab of pain, sharp but familiar. It feels like searching for something, an answer, a reason, why they left, why it ended. But the screen offers nothing, only more questions. The mind replays their last words, or their silence, over and over, chasing, as if understanding could erase the loss. But what's found in that endless scroll? Their new life doesn't explain the old one. Their silence doesn't resolve the ache. Each check builds a loop, not of clarity, but of regret. The cost isn't in the moment. It's in the hours lost, the energy drained, the system inside tethered to a ghost. Not them, not even the past, just an image, a shadow that pulls harder with every glance. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You can discard most of the junk that clutters your mind. Their absence isn't your truth." Chasing closure is chasing wind. It moves, but it's never caught. The reflex to seek binds tighter than their leaving ever did. Withdraw from the screen. Turn it off. Not to forget, but to SE. The urge to check isn't a command. It's a trap. Step back. Let the impulse pass. Breath through the pull. The answer isn't out there in their stories, their posts. It's here, in the pause, in the refusal to chase. The loop spins only if you feed it. Detach, and it slows. You don't have to react. The reflex to chase, it's loud. But there's a quieter path, one that doesn't beg for answers. The screen tempts not with answers, but with habit. A profile picture, a story viewed in secret. Chasing feels like movement, like progress toward understanding. But it's a circle, each lap tighter, each view heavier. The heart races not for them, but for the hope of something new, a sign, a shift. Yet the silence stays unbroken. The truth stays out of reach. The cost compounds, not in the glance, but in the surrender. Each check hands over control, not to them, but to the reflex. The mind knows their page holds no key. Yet the thumb moves, driven by a ghost. Pain isn't the wound here. It's the choice to keep cutting. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Their story isn't your story. Chasing builds a prison of your own design. Disengage when the urge rises. Turn off the screen, the thought. Breath through the itch to know. Withdraw, not to hide, but to stand. The closure isn't theirs to give. It's yours to claim. The void is where it clears. The loop breaks when the chase stops. Way 2. Break the overthinking loop. The mind churns. A memory flickers. Their laugh, their last look. A moment that felt like forever, now gone. It replays, unbidden. Why did they turn away? What could have been said? The thoughts spiral, each one sharper, heavier, overthinking, as if dissecting the past could rebuild it. The clock ticks, 2 a.m. The room is still, but the head isn't. Questions stack, no answers come. Each loop costs more than time. It pulls focus from the present, from the self. The system inside frays under the weight of what-ifs, not their absence, but the refusal to let it rest. Regret isn't born from what was lost, but from the mind's grip on it. Every replay, a choice to stay trapped. Epictetus said, "There is only one way to happiness. Cease worrying about things beyond your control. The past is stone. No thought can carve it anew. Overthinking doesn't solve. It buries." Pause when the memory rises. Observe it like a cloud passing. Don't chase. Don't dissect. Breath, let it drift. The urge to replay isn't truth. It's noise. Witness the thought and let it fade. The present is where the loop breaks. Pain doesn't mean truth. Grief, a fog that blinds. Stillness clears the path. The spiral slows when the mind learns to watch, not run. A song plays, their favorite. The mind latches, replaying a drive, a laugh, a glance. Why did it end? What went wrong? The questions roll, each one heavier than the last. Overthinking feels like solving, like piecing together a puzzle. But the pieces don't fit, they never will. The past is a locked door. No thought can turn the key. The spiral deepens, Not in the memory, but in the grip. Hours slip, focus fades. The system inside runs hot, burning through presence. Regret isn't born from their absence. It's born from the refusal to let the thought pass. Each replay, a choice to stay lost. Epictetus wrote, "You are not your thoughts, but what you do with them." Overthinking doesn't rebuild, it traps. The memory isn't your cage. The reflex is. Witness the thought without chasing. Pause as it rises. Breath and let it drift. Non-reaction cuts the thread. Be here, not there. The present is where the spiral stops. Pain doesn't mean truth. Anxiety, a pulse that races. Pause stops its reign. The mind quiets when it learns to let go. Way 3. Refuse to explain yourself. The question comes, soft, well-meaning. Are you okay? The tongue hesitates. The mind races. To tell, to justify the ache. To make them see why the nights are long. Why the smile is forced. Words form. A story of pain, of loss. Explaining, as if their understanding could lift the weight. The urge to speak feels urgent, necessary, but each sentence spills more than it solves. The cost isn't in their response. It's in the energy spent shaping a truth they can't hold. Every explanation pulls the self further from center. Not their fault, but the reflex to please, to make sense of the invisible. It drains, it binds. The system inside weakens, chasing validation that never lands. Seneca wrote, "Why explain what only you can know? The wound needs no audience. Explaining trades silence for noise. Their nod doesn't heal. Their pity doesn't resolve. Say less. When the question comes, hold the line. Not for them, but for you. Breath through the urge to justify. The ache is yours, not a story to sell. Withdraw into the quiet. The truth needs no defense. You don't owe anything. The weight of words lifts when they stay unspoken. Their eyes wait, expectant. What happened? The instinct surges to lay it bare. To tell the story of their leaving, of the nights spent awake. Explaining feels like relief, like making the pain visible. The words build a bridge to their understanding, but the bridge collapses. Each syllable a weight. The truth doesn't land. It scatters. The effort drains, not in their reply, but in the act. Each explanation pulls you further from silence. The system inside bends, seeking their nod, their pity. The cost isn't their misunderstanding. It's the betrayal of your own ground. Pleasing doesn't clarify. It obscures. Seneca wrote, "The greatest wealth is a mind content with itself." Explaining trades your peace for their glance. The ache isn't theirs to solve. Hold the line. When the urge rises, say nothing. Not to hide, but to keep. Breath through the need to be seen. Withdraw into your truth. The self needs no stage. You don't owe anything. The truth stands when the words stay still. Way 4. Release the grip of memory. A photo lingers, their smile frozen in time. A moment when everything felt whole. The mind clings to that frame, to the warmth of their voice, the weight of their hand. It feels like holding on, keeps them close, keeps the past alive, clinging as if memory could rebuild what's gone. Each revisit, a step back into loss, not to heal, but to ache. The grip tightens, but it doesn't save. It costs. Every memory replayed steals from the present. The heart stays tethered to a version that no longer exists. Not them, not even the truth. Just a shadow, polished by time. Detachment doesn't preserve, it buries. The system inside slows, caught in a loop of what was. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The memory of everything is very soon overwhelmed in time." Their smile isn't your anchor. Clinging only sinks deeper. The past is a guest that leaves when you stop inviting it. You unhook from the image. Let go of the moment. Not to erase, but to see. The urge to hold isn't love. It's a chain. Step back. Let the memory blur. Breath into the space it leaves. The present is lighter without the weight. Detachment is a form of respect. Weak self. I need to remember. Stoic self. You need to release. The past fades when the grip loosens. A scent drifts, their perfume, faint on an old shirt. The mind clutches, a night, a touch, a promise. It feels alive, as if holding it could keep them here, clinging to the echo of what was. The heart aches, not for them, but for the story it tells itself. The memory glows, but it's heavy. Each recall, a weight that pulls back. The cost isn't in the moment, it's in the tether. The system inside slows, anchored to a time that's gone. Attachment doesn't save the past, it buries the present. Regret grows not from their leaving, but from the refusal to let the image fade. The memory isn't truth, it's a trap. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nothing is so fleeting as a thought." Clinging builds a cage from dust. The past owes you nothing. Let go of the scent, the scene, unhook from the story. Breath into the now. Step back, not to forget, but to see. The present is where the weight lifts. Detachment is a form of respect. The past softens when the hold breaks. Way 5. Face the emptiness. The room is quiet. Too quiet. No notifications. No voice. Just the hum of nothing. The urge rises to fill it. To scroll. To call someone. To drown the silence with noise. Avoiding. As if emptiness were a threat. The hand reaches for the phone. The mind begs for distraction. Anything to not feel the void. To not sit with loss. Each escape builds a debt. Not in the moment, but in the hours that follow. The noise fades, and the void returns. Stronger, heavier. Escape doesn't shrink it. It grows it. The system inside frays, running from what's already there. Emptiness isn't the enemy. Fleeing it is. Seneca wrote, "You must be not only present, but conscious of your presence." The void is just space. Avoiding it steals your ground. Sit with it, not to suffer, but to see. Breath into the silence. Be here, where the ache lives. No music, no screen, just you. Witness the weight without running. The void doesn't bite, it reveals. Stillness is where the truth settles. Stillness is enough. The silence waits, but it doesn't chase. The night stretches, no sound, no light, just the self, alone. The instinct flares to run, to fill the space with music, chatter, anything. Avoiding, as if emptiness could swallow whole. The hand twitches toward the phone, the remote. Distraction feels like safety, but it's a lie. The quiet waits, patient, unyielding. Running doesn't shrink the void, it expands it. Each distraction delays the truth. The system inside weakens, fleeing what's already here. Loss isn't the danger. The reflex to escape is. Emptiness doesn't destroy, it reveals. Seneca wrote, "Solitude does not harm, it teaches." Avoiding trades clarity for noise. The void is just the self, waiting to be seen. Sit with it. No crutch, no screen. Breath into the weight. Be here, where the ache breathes. Witness without turning away. Stillness isn't empty, it's ground. Stillness is enough. The void speaks when you stop running. Way 6. Stop reacting to silence. Their silence stings. A void where words once were. No reply, no call, just absence. The urge surges to fill it, to text, to check, to do something, reacting, as if action could force their voice. The fingers hover, the mind races. Maybe one message, maybe one look will break the quiet. It feels like control, like fighting back, but each move only deepens the cut. The trap is subtle. Reacting doesn't end the silence. It feeds it. Every text sent, every profile checked, hands them power, not over you, but over your peace. The system inside spins, chasing a response that won't come. Anxiety grows, not from their absence, but from the reflex to fill it. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens, but how you react that matters." Their silence is just air. Reacting turns it into chains. Pause when the urge hits. Witness the impulse without moving. Breath through the need to act. Non-reaction isn't weakness, it's strength. Disengage from the pull. They're quiet, doesn't demand your noise. You don't have to react. 80% of post-breakup texts regret within hours. The silence holds when you refuse to break it. Their quiet cuts, no message, no trace. The mind fills the gap. A draft begins. Words form to break the wall, to make them see. Reacting feels like power, like taking back what's lost. The send button glows, promising relief, but it lies. Each message, each check, hands them the reins, not of your heart, but of your peace. The cost isn't in their reply, it's in the surrender. Reacting fuels the loop. Anxiety, not from their silence, but from your noise. The system inside spins, chasing a response that changes nothing. Their absence isn't your chain. The reflex is. Epictetus wrote, "You are not disturbed by things, but by your view of them." Silence is just space. Reacting turns it into pain. Non-reaction is the break. Witness the urge without moving. Breath through the pull to fill. Disengage, not to lose, but to keep. Their quiet doesn't own you. You don't have to react. 90% of unanswered texts deepen regret by dawn. The silence holds when you let it be. Way 7. Reject shame's weight. The mirror reflects a face that feels foreign. They're leaving. It lingers, not just as loss, but as a whisper. You weren't enough. The thought settles, heavy, unasked. Shame creeps, not loud, but constant. It colors the silence, twists the memory of their goodbye. The mind agrees. Maybe it was your fault. Maybe you failed. Rejection feels like truth. One path accepts the whisper, carries it, lets it define. The shoulders slump, the days blur. Shame grows, not from their choice, but from believing it measures you. The system inside buckles under a weight it wasn't meant to hold. Every self-doubt, a brick added to the load. Another path sees the lie. Their leaving isn't your verdict. Shame is just a reflex, not fact. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You need not be hurt unless you choose to be." Rejection doesn't mark you, it passes. See the thought for what it is. A shadow, not a chain. Detached. Strength doesn't beg for their approval. Breath, and let the whisper fade. Stand, not to prove, but to be. The self needs no defense. Silence isn't surrender. The weight lifts when the lie is seen. The thought returns, uninvited. They're leaving, a verdict, not enough. It echoes in the quiet moments, at dawn, in the mirror. Shame, not shouted, but whispered. It paints their absence as your failure. The mind nods, agreeing with the lie. Rejection feels like a brand, permanent. True, the reflex binds, accepting the weight. Each doubt, a stone piled high. The system inside buckles, carrying a load it doesn't own. Shame doesn't clarify. It blinds. The cost isn't their choice. It's the belief that their leaving defines you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What others think is their own affair. Rejection isn't your truth. Shame is a shadow you choose to stand in. See the lie as it forms. Detached strength needs no defense. Breath and let the thought pass. Stand, not to prove, but to be. The self is whole without their gaze. Silence isn't surrender. The verdict fades when you stop carrying it." Way 8. Override the urge to please. The conversation hums. A friend asks how you're holding up. The instinct kicks in to soften the truth, to smile, to say, "I'm fine." Not for them, but to keep their comfort, to avoid their worry, pleasing, as if their ease matters more than your pain. The words spill, polished, hollow. The mask fits, but it chokes. The system fails, not in the moment, but in the pattern. Each "I'm okay" buries the ache deeper. Suppressing doesn't protect, it erodes. The self shrinks to fit others' expectations. The cost isn't their reaction, it's the distance grown between you and your truth. Anxiety festers, not from their questions, but from the reflex to hide. Seneca wrote, "No one can wear a mask for long. Pleasing trades your ground for their nod. It solves nothing, only delays the collapse." Refrain from the easy answer. Say less, not to isolate, but to guard. Breath through the urge to soften. Self-command doesn't bend for their comfort. Witness your truth without apology. The ache owes no performance. As not doing is power too. He texted daily, seeking her approval. Gained nothing, but silence. The mask falls when the truth stands alone. The voice softens. I'm moving on. The lie slips out. Smooth, practiced. Not to heal, but to spare them, to keep the peace. Pleasing feels like duty, like holding the moment together. But the words, they cost. Each one, a brick, sealing the truth. The ache, buried deeper. Suppressing, not for you, but for their comfort. The system cracks, not in their smile, but in the silence after. The self shrinks to fit their ease. Anxiety grows, not from their question, but from the reflex to hide. Pleasing doesn't build, it erodes. The truth, left unspoken, festers. The cost is your ground, traded for their nod. Seneca wrote, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." Pleasing scatters you. The ache needs no audience. Say less when the urge rises. Refrain from the mask. Breath through the need to perform. Self-command guards your truth. Witness the moment without bending. The self stands taller in silence. Not doing is power too. She smiled to please, lost herself in the act. The truth breathes when the mask stays off. Way 9. Cut the hope trap. The thought creeps in, soft, almost kind. They'll reach out. They'll see your worth. A moment in a cafe, their hand brushing yours again. The mind paints it, vivid, warm. Hope blindly, as if waiting could rewrite their goodbye. The heart leans in, clinging to a maybe, a future that feels close, but isn't. The scene shifts. A message never comes. The cafe stays empty. Dennying doesn't summon them back. It costs. Each fantasy steals focus from now. The system inside stalls, tethered to a dream that's already dust. Regret grows, not from their absence, but from the time spent chasing shadows. Hope isn't strength here, it's a trap. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What need is there to weave a dream? Their return isn't your peace. Hope blindly only binds tighter. Break loop when the thought rises. Step back from the picture. Breath into the present. Withdraw from the maybe. See the trap for what it is, a flicker, not a flame. You can end without drama. The dream dissolves when the eyes stay open. The mind wanders to a day that never comes. Their voice, soft, apologetic. Their return, a scene played on repeat. Hope blindly feels like light, like a spark in the dark. The heart holds it tight, as if wishing could make it real. But the dream, it's hollow. Each replay, a pull away from now. The cost isn't in the hope itself, it's in the tether. The system inside stalls, waiting for a maybe. Dennying the truth that's already here. Regret grows, not from their absence, but from the time spent chasing a shadow. Hope isn't peace, it's a cage. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Live as if you were living now." Hope blindly steals the present. Their return isn't your ground. Step back from the dream. Break loop when it forms. Breath into the real. Withdraw from the wish. See the moment as it is. The now is yours, not theirs. You can end without drama. The spark dims when the eyes face forward. Way 10. Build silent presence. The world moves, but inside it's still. No pull to check, no urge to speak. just a quiet, deep, unbroken. Numbness once ruled here, a haze that dulled every step. Isolation, not chosen, but lived. The self drifted, untethered from its own voice. The heart beat, but the presence was gone. The cost wasn't in the silence itself. It was in the absence of self. Days passed, blurred by routine. Work done, smiles given. But the core, hollow, not from their leaving, but from the reflex to fade. The system inside ran on autopilot, avoiding the work of being here. Epictetus wrote, "You become what you give your attention to." Numbness isn't rest, it's neglect. Presence starts with seeing the drift. Breath into the moment, centered, not on them, not on the past, but here. Observe the quiet without filling it. Awareness isn't loud, it's steady. Sit with it. No screen, no noise. The self rebuilds in the pause. Stillness is where you begin. Marcus Aurelius. Discard the junk that clutters your mind. The quiet grows. When the self returns, the morning breaks, but the mind drifts. Routine carries on. Work, words, motion. Yet inside, a fog. Numbness. Not sharp, but dull. It coats every moment, softens every edge. Isolation. Not a choice, but a state. The self, present, but not here. The heart moves, but the core stays still. The cost isn't in the days lived. It's in the absence of connection. The system inside runs, but unmoored. Not from their leaving, but from the reflex to disconnect. Numbness doesn't shield, it starves. The self waits, buried under the haze. Epictetus wrote, "What you avoid, you cannot master." Numbness isn't rest, it's retreat. Presence is built, not found. Breath into the fog, centered on the now, not the ache. Observe the moment without fleeing. Awareness grows in the quiet. Sit with it. No rush, no noise. The self emerges where the haze clears. Stillness is where you begin. Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not external events. The self returns when the quiet is claimed. The phone rests, screen dark, untouched. The room hums, no sound but breath. Hands still, no urge to check, to fill, to chase. A moment held, not sent, not sought. Just here. The pause, it lingers, not a fix, not an end, but a space where no reflex ruled, no text drafted, no memory replayed. Stillness, caught, not forced. This quiet, is it strength or just a breath before the pull returns? Breath is enough to stay here.